Okay, so good day. So this will be my discussion for the whole semifinals, and as much as possible, we can finish all of the topics pero binawasan ko na lang kasi yun, parang hindi siya kakayanin. Okay? So let's talk about the other parts of marketing tactics. Okay? So alright, managing brands. So, what's with a brand? Ano ba ang what exactly is a brand, right? So, it at its core, a brand is a marketing tool that helps differentiate a company's offerings from its competitors. It's more than just a product or service. It's about creating value beyond the tangible aspects. So, for example, again, kapag when you uh, think about a product, let's say printer, what comes to your mind? Is it HP? Is it Canon? You know, is it Epson? Right? Pag sinabing quality, magandang quality and affordable, what comes to your mind? Si HP ba yun? Si Canon? Or si Epson? So, ibig sabihin, when you talk about brands, it's already the identity as well of that product associated and the characteristics associated to it, to the brand, because parang for example GE, General Electric, kapag sinabi mong GE matibay, no, ah long lasting, kahit pricey siya, parang Panasonic din, kahit pricey siya, long lasting siya. Sony, yan. So that is how you identify the product that you like. And yeah, how can you identify the brand? Of course, it is through the logo, slogan, and packaging. Pwede rin, di ba? Parang pag dating sa detergent, pag sinabing orange and white and blue, agad-agad na may isip mo is si Tide. Pag sinabing green and white, agad-agad si Ariel. Diba? Pag sinabi mong pink at saka blue, surf ang nasa isip mo. So, anything, any element that uh, represents the identity of the brand, ayan yon. It's really crucial na, ang tawag dito, na ma-differentiate mo yung brand ng iyong product. But brand is also about meaning. It's the perceptions and beliefs that customers have about the brand. Yan yung sinasabi ko. The beliefs and perception about the brand. Right? So, yon. So, let's talk about the role of a brand. Okay, definition. So, definition, a brand is a marketing tool that differentiates a company's offering from competitors and creates value beyond the product or service itself. So its identity can be symbolized or can be identity, brand identity. This includes the elements such as the name, the logo, symbol, slogan, and packaging. Everything, each element associated to the brand is itself can distinguish, can make consumers distinguish its identity. Diba parang tayo, ano bang gusto nating maging identity, right? Pag kunwari nasa isang party tayo na bago tayo and wala tayong kakilala, paano ba natin gustong makilala? Tayo ba gusto ba nating makilala bilang snobbish, or tayo ba ay gustong makilala bilang friendly, bubbly, or a joker? So yun, ano ba ang gusto nating ma-establish na brand identity? And itong mga elements na to, it helps identify that brand. And of course, brand meaning, it reflects the perceptions and beliefs customers have about the brand. So it signals quality, price, image, and emotional or social benefits. Ayan. So there you go. Now, what is the role of a brand? So when you say differentiation, of course, brands help companies stand out in commoditized markets. Value creation, brand creates value through quality signals, price image, and emotional, social, and self-expressive benefits. Yun. So, tawag dito, brands play crucial role in helping companies stand out in crowded markets. Yun. They create value in several ways. So, through quality, again, just like what I mentioned earlier, when you see a brand like Sony or Panasonic, you immediately associate it with high quality. And of course, the price image. Yep. For example, SNR versus CSI. Ayan. Right? Wag sinabi yung mga SNR, well, of course, that will be pricey. You know, kukonti lang yung laman ng cart mo, 10,000 na kaagad. Baka halos hindi pa mapuno yung cart, yung bill mo. Samantalang pag nasa CSI ka, malayo na yung mararating ng 10,000 pesos worth of groceries mo. Right? So, you can associate it as well with the price. Okay? And finally, through emotional, social, and self-expressive benefits, like for example, luxury brands like Louis Vuitton or Tiffany's, they offer more than just products. They offer a sense of prestige and exclusivity. Ayan. Luxury products. Tingnan na lang natin, no? I do not know, but sino yung mga may motor? Parang based sa mga meme na nakikita ko, sa mga videos, it's like yung brand mismo ng helmet can be a status symbol. I just don't know why. But pag ang parang mapapawaw sila pag ang helmet mo worth 3 to 5,000 ganun. So, what else? Tumblers, right? Actually, when you talk about tumblers, it's functionality wise, it's really very helpful. But why do we always want to uh ano yon? Why do we always want to buy or purchase a very expensive water bottle? Why? It's just a water bottle. Bakit hindi na lang tayo bumili dyan sa tabi-tabi? Marami naman dyan. Pero hindi. Because when you use a tumbler na pwede mong i-flex, I remember na uso yung mga aqua flask. Now, ang dami-dami na like Meoki, Stanley, and kung ano-ano pa na mga tumblers. If you are, ano pa ba yun? Hydro flask. Ayan. If you use them, parang bigatin ka, parang nakaya mong bumili ng mamahaling water tumbler, right? So, you establish, or it establishes somewhat a prestige towards the consumers. Okay? Now, next one. So, branding as a value creation process. So, as we all know, the 5 C's framework: customers, company, collaborators, competitors, and context. I think na-discuss ata natin to nung nakaraan, no? So, one useful framework is the 5 C's. Ayan yan. Each of these elements play a role in shaping the brand and its value. So, for instance, understanding your customers' needs and preferences is crucial for creating a brand that resonates with them. Of course, again, babalik tayo sa identify the needs and wants of your target customers para alam mo kung paano i-establish yung reputation mo or yung identity mo swak sa panlasa nung gusto mong bentahan. Similarly, aligning the brand with the company's values and goals, collaborating with partners, and staying ahead of competitors, and adapting to the market context are all essential for successful branding. Okay, next one. Brand hierarchy. So we have individual branding. Each product has a separate brand. Umbrella, single brand covers multiple products. Sub-branding combines an umbrella like Porsche Carrera. Ayan. And hybrid branding, mix of individual and umbrella branding. Like General Motors uses Chevrolet and Cadillac as umbrella brands with sub-brands like Camaro and Escalade. So brands can be organized in different ways, and this is known as a brand hierarchy. There are several approaches to this. For example, individual branding means each product has a separate brand. Yep, like Tide and Cheer by Procter and Gamble. Okay. And umbrella branding is when a single brand covers multiple products such as General Electric or Heinz. Of course. So marami ang variety or maraming mga products si General Electric. So umbrella branding 'yun. Yung individual branding, wala tayong cheer pero under ng Procter and Gamble, alam naman natin na they have a lot of products. Isa na yun yung Tide, Ariel, ano pa ba? Downy? Yun. Okay, so individual branding yun. Sub-branding combines an umbrella with a lower tier brand like Courtyard by Marriott or Porsche Carrera. Okay? And finally, hybrid branding is a mix of individual and umbrella branding. For example, General Motors uses Chevrolet and Cadillac as umbrella brands with sub-brands like Camaro and Escalade. Okay? Okay, hold on. Ayan. Okay, next one is the brand dynamics. Brands are not static. They need to evolve to stay relevant. This brings us to brand dynamics. So brand repositioning involves changing the brand's identity or meaning to keep up with market trends and consumer preferences. So for example, a brand might update its logo or slogan to appeal to a younger audience. Brand extensions, on the other hand, involve applying the brand to new product categories or price tiers. This allows the brand to reach new customers and expand its market presence. So, brand repositioning, changing the brand's identity or meaning to stay relevant. So, for example, let's say hindi pumatok sa masa yung ganitong brand. Siguro kasi nagkamali ng target market or yung identity hindi na pag-aralang mabuti, mali yung impression ng target market sa kanila. So they have to reposition the brand. They have to change the brand identity. Okay? Whereas for brand extensions, applying the brand to new product categories or price tiers. Ano pa ba yung mga ano na yun? So, ano pa ba? Under ng isang, for example, Surf ba ay under ng Procter and Gamble? Oh my God. Anyway, let's say, detergent. We all know that Ariel is kind of pricey, more expensive than Tide. And, as a matter of fact, si Ariel dito sa Philippines, meron siyang liquid detergent which is specially formulated for automatic washing machines. So that means, sino nga bang mga nag-automatic washing machine? So as you know, noon, mahal yung mga yan, naabot ng 50,000, ganun. Buti na lang ngayon, medyo affordable. Pero syempre, may installation pang ganap dyan. So talagang mahirap or mahal yung pag meron kang automatic washing machine, medyo may kaya ka. And they created a liquid detergent na Ariel. Whereas for Tide, alam naman natin na powder lang siya. But, meron sa ibang bansa ng liquid detergent ang Tide. Hindi lang siya masyadong pumatok dito siguro. Kasi nga, ayun, mas tina-target ni Tide yung mga middle class. Or hindi naman middle class, mga lower, kumbaga affordable pero quality, ganun. So, compared with Ariel. So, that is brand extension. So, merong iba't ibang product category. Another thing, syempre yung mga cellphones natin, May mid-range, may flagship, may basic phone, which is still under one brand, right? Ganon. Under one umbrella. Ayun. So, yun, yung parang different strategies nila. So, that is under brand dynamics. Brand equity, lastly, let's discuss about brand equity. Okay? So, brand equity is the financial value of a brand reflecting its ability to create customer loyalty, command price premiums, and generate future earnings. Measuring brand equity can be done through various approaches: the cost-based approach, the market-based approach, and the financial approach. So understanding brand equity is crucial for companies as it helps them make informed decisions about brand management and investment. So brand equity, the financial value of a brand, reflecting its ability to create customer loyalty, command price premiums, and generate future earnings. So brand equity. Okay, financial, pera. Okay? Ibig sabihin, value for money ba siya? Ayan. So, yung presyo ba niya is nagkakaroon din ng positive, kahit medyo mahal siya, nagkakaroon pa rin ba ng customer loyalty? Okay, and generate future earnings. Yan. Measuring brand equity can be by cost-based approach, market-based approach, and financial approach. So, sa accounting yan. Sa financials yan. Yung mga cost-based, market-based, and financial approach. Okay? So, now we move on to managing price. So, key pricing approaches. So, now, let's start with the key pricing approaches. First, we have cost-based pricing, where prices are set based on the production costs plus a markup. Okay, ito yung kukomputin mo kung magkano yung nagastos mo sa isang unit. Tapos, ita times 0.20 mo, let's say ang markup mo is 20%. So, yun na yung magiging presyo mo. Yun yung cost-based pricing. So, let's say for example, ang nagastos mo sa isang unit or sa isang produkto or ang tawag dito, kunwari nakaproduce ka ng 10 pandesal. O di, 10 laruan. Ayan. Sa isang laruan, ang nagastos mo ay 100 pesos. Kasama na dyan, costing. Kasama yung raw materials, yung effort mo, ayan, lahat na. Tapos, gusto mong mag-markup. Let's say, yung parang patong ang markup. Let's say, 20%. So, syempre, 20 pesos ang 20% ng 100 for easy computation na ha. So, ang magiging presyo mo kung cost-based pricing ay 120 pesos. Okay? Now, moving on to competitive pricing. Ito naman, syempre, kailangan mong mag-benchmark sa iyong mga competitor. What I mean is, titignan mo, parang ipapares mo siya, dapat hindi nagkakalayo yung presyo mo doon sa mga kakompetensya mo. That is competitive or competition-based pricing or competitive pricing. Then, demand pricing, it set prices based on customers' willingness to pay. Wow. So, depende daw. Kaya kung minsan, nagtatanong pag sa mga FISIB, how much are you willing to pay for a single unit of toy? Toy A, ayan. Let's say 130 to 150, ayan. So, demand pricing. Depende din, aside from feasibility study, nakadepende kung maraming bibili. So, dito rin papasok yung law of supply and demand. Siyempre, kapag mababa yung supply, alam naman natin, magkakaroon ng pagiging expensive ng product. For example, nung natatanda ninyo nung pandemic, right? Nagkaroon ng massive demand for face mask. Biglang rise, skyrocket, no? Yung demand sa face mask. Nung nag-order ako sa Shopee, parang ang 20 piraso ay 50 pesos lang. Tapos, hinold ni seller, hindi niya pinenta. Kinancel niya. Only to find out, naging 100 pesos yung 20 peraso lang na face mask. Kasi mataas yung demand, nagkakaubusan. So, syempre, iyaano din yan, parang i-maximize nila yung opportunity na kumita ng malaki. Eh, tingnan nyo na ngayon, magkano na lang ang face mask, right? Nakakabili ka na lang ng 10 piraso, 10 piso, 20, minsan 8 pesos pa pag sa TikTok shop, right? So, again, it depends on the demand on that product. Okay, yung alcohol, di ba? Nagkaroon ng hoarding, super mahal ng mga natitirang mga alcohol sa pharmacy. So, buti na lang nagkaroon ng anong tawag dito? Nagkaroon ng price ceiling or niregulate kaagad, tapos nagkaroon ng rules na bawal mag-hoard para ma-regulate para mabigyan lahat ng chance yung pagbibili ng alcohol, 'di ba? So, yan yung mga key pricing approaches. Okay? So, the 5 C's of pricing. So, price depends on company such as goals, cost. Of course, kung ang goal, cost. Syempre, kung goals and cost, kung gusto mong magkaroon ng goal na tawag dito, magkaroon ng sales or millions of sales in the first year, syempre, kailangan mong i-consider din yung price mo. Magkano ang presyo per unit. Diba? Of course, also, you have to understand yung willingness to pay ng customer. If you remember, a customer, as a marketer, you have to understand, or a customer, for you to have a sale, a customer should have 3 things. The willingness to buy, the capacity to buy, and the need to buy. Okay? Ulitin. No? Una, the willingness to buy. Ibig sabihin, gusto niya, willing ako na bumili. Pangalawa, the capacity to buy. Ibig sabihin, baka naman willing siya pero hindi niya kaya yung presyo. Right? Kapasidad niyang bumili. And, of course, the need to buy. Again, going back, customers' needs and wants. So, yan yung kailangang isipin ng mga marketers. And of course, collaborators, for example, the retailers. So, syempre, kailangan mong yung SRP or yung wholesale price, kailangan mong i-consider kasi syempre, kailangan din kumita ng iyong mga retailer. Pero dapat yung isi-set mong price ay makikitain din si manufacturer. Right? Ayan. Competitors and context, economic regulatory factors. So, of course, competitors, parang ganyan, competition-based pricing. Baka mamaya masyado kang overpriced, tapos hindi na yung quality mo kasing parehas din lang ng competitors, baka malamangan ka dun. Or, nakadepende din talaga kasi. So, pero kailangan mo pa rin consider yon, pag-aralan. And context, of course, the economic and regulatory factors. Bakit? Siyempre, kagaya niyan, yung demand pricing, nakadepende sa customer's demand. Siyempre, kapag bumaba ang ekonomiya, ang mga tao ay hindi willing na bumili. Kasi nga, gusto nilang magtipid. Kasi nga, matataas ang mga bilihin. Yan. So, kailangan mo rin yun i-consider. Yung mga mga price fluctuations ng mga raw materials. Ayan. And also your regulatory factors. So, for example, kagaya niyan, nagkaroon na ng bawal ang plastic sa packaging. Bawal ang plastic na packaging. Siyempre, kailangan mo rin consider yung pagbabago mo ng packaging na kung saan safe pa rin yung product mo. Safe pa rin, and siguro, or what I mean is, syempre kapag magbabago ka ng packaging, gagastos ka dyan. So, you have to consider that in your costing. Ipasok mo rin siya sa presyo mo. Consider mo rin siya pagprepresyohan mo, di ba? Yan. So, there you go. Customer-based pricing strategies. So, ito yung price skimming and penetration pricing. Ito yung customer-based approach. I think you know this one, skim pricing or price skimming. Ito yung mataas, yung i-introduce mo yung product pero mataas ang introductory price mo. High initial price to maximize margins. But best when demand is inelastic and low competition. Yan. Pero kapag gusto mong ma-penetrate agad, kaya nga penetration pricing kasi low ang presyo or mababa ang presyo mo sa pag-launch ng iyong product. Example, streaming services, best when demand is elastic and high competition. Yes. Uso dito yung mga mga digital products. Ayan. Siyempre, anyone can already create digital products. Mas nagiging maalam tayo. Maalam na yung mga tao sa sa paggawa ng mga digital products. And of course, very tight na yung competition. So, how can you ano tawag dito? Contest? Hindi. How can you, oh my God, defeat? Ayan. How can you defeat your competitors? It's either you have to create something unique that is not really very easy to imitate. Yeah. So, pwede kang magtaas ng presyo pag ganun. Diba? Kasi, hindi lahat kayang gayahin. Pero kung after 1 week, kaya naman nilang gayahin yung ginawa mo, ay nako, mag-penetration pricing ka na lang. Okay? So, nakadepende nga sa uniqueness. Okay, next one. So, price sensitivity and elasticity. So, we have formulas in there. Don't worry, I will not ask you to compute. So, elasticity is equal to percentage change in quantity sold divided by percentage change in price. Ayan. Elastic demand, small price change leads to larger sales change, and inelastic price changes have minimal impact. Okay? So, understanding price sensitivity and elasticity is crucial for pricing decisions. The price elasticity formula is the percentage change in quantity sold dividing by the percentage change in price. If demand is elastic, a small price change leads to a large change in sales. Conversely, if demand is inelastic, price changes have minimal impact on sales. So for example, luxury goods often have inelastic demand, while everyday items like groceries have elastic demand. So, ayan. Bakit? Kasi, bakit ang tawag dito, sabi niya, small price change leads to large sales change. Bakit kapag mura, mga groceries, it has an elastic demand? Syempre kasi yan, very affordable. Could you imagine, let's say, si chichirya mo na 10 piso, no, na binibili ng lahat, let's say, 1,000 na customers in a day. Wala, ayoko na mag-compute. So, 10,000 yon, di ba? Pero kapag nagtaas ka ng 12 pesos, nagtaas ka ng 2 pesos, sabihin mong 12 pesos times 1,000. So, let's say magiging 12,000. So, hindi ko alam kung tamang aking computation. Sorry naman. 12 pesos times 1,000. Yeah, 12 pa naman. My God, ba't ako nag-doubt? So, malaki na kaagad yung yung pagkakaiba, no, or yung sales nun. Kasi nga, the more na mas marami ang bumibili, tapos, syempre, affordable nga siya. Pangmasa. mas ramdam yung impact nung price change sa iyo bilang business. Pero kapag luxury goods often have inelastic demand while bakit kaya inelastic? So anong inelastic? Price changes have minimal impact. Kasi kukunti lang naman doon yung bumibili, yung may kaya ng ganun, right? So parang lang, parang hindi masyadong ramdam. Okay. Ayan. Siguro let's say nagtaas ng 2,000 pesos pero ang bumili lang ay 5, 'di ba? Eh di 10,000 lang yung parang kumpara doon sa 150,000 kunwari na bag, parang hindi siya masyadong ramdam, okay, pag nagpalit siya ng presyo. 'Yon. Pero okay, pag sinabi kasing price sensitivity, ito yung pagiging price conscious ng mga consumers. Pag sinabi mong price sensitive si mama mo, ibig sabihin kuripot or titignan, baka may mas mura pang product. Baka si product B, mas mura kaysa product A. Ibig sabihin price sensitive siya. Pag hindi siya price sensitive, kahit na mahal yan, bibilhin niya. Okay? Yan yung ibig sabihin ng price sensitive. Okay, next one. Psychological pricing. So we have reference price effects. So compare to competitors' pricing, price ending. Yan yung 9.99 perceived as cheaper versus 110. $1 lang naman ang pinagkaiba. And product line effects. Price wine as the second cheapest to boost sales. Okay. So, okay. Psychological pricing effects play a significant role in how customers perceive prices. Reference price effects occur when customers compare prices to competitors' prices. Ayan, kinukumpara si product A and product B ng presyo. Price ending, ito yung 9.99. Feeling nila nakatipid ng $1 or 0.01 cents. Diba? Seem cheaper than $10. Product line effects involve pricing products strategically within a product line, such as pricing wine as the second cheapest option to boost sales. So, ayan, kumbaga, nasa, parang, ang tawag dito, dinodoktrina. Parang kino-convince nila yung mamimili na, ito, second cheapest option. Ayan, ito nang bilhin mo. Ayan, yan yung product line effect. Pero, pwedeng, under ng isang manufacturer, may brand A siya na mas mahal, may brand B siya na mas mura. So, ipapresyo niya si brand B na second cheapest para may associate pa rin doon sa manufacturer na matibay itong itong manufacturer na to. Kahit na mas mura siya, okay siya. Parang hindi naman ini-scam. Ini-scam ba? Pero parang yun, parang hindi naman manipulate eh. Kino-convince, ayan. Kino-convince na ito, kahit matiba itong brand pero second cheapest wine ito. Kaya bilhin mo na lang. Parang ganun. Kaya nga psychological pricing. Okay? Now, moving on to competitive pricing and price wars. So, triggers for price wars include undifferentiated products, stagnant markets, and low customer loyalty. To avoid price wars, companies should verify if the threat is real and consider repositioning their offerings or launching a fighting brand, which is a budget product line to counter competitors. So, ano ba yung price wars? Yun yung parang nagkakaroon ng competition sa presyo, no? Nagyayari ito kapag medyo hindi masyadong unique yung product. Ayan, stagnant markets or low customer loyalty. So, pababaan ng presyo. Bababaan nila, price war. Verify if the threat is real, reposition offerings, or launch a fighting brand. Or, for example, a budget product line. So, Instead na, kasi pangit naman, for example, meron kang, ano ba? Ano bang magandang product? Sige, bag, kunwari na lang, madali na lang. For example, yung bag mo, nagkakaroon ng price war. Yung kalaban mo na competitor, binababaan niya yung presyo ng bags. So, alangan naman na ibababa mo rin. Ang pangit ng impact ng ganun kasi, ma-associate ang iyong brand na cheap or baka low quality. So, why not? Ganun pa din yung iyong brand, matibay, ganun na medyo pricey, pero mag-introduce ka ng another line or another parang another brand under your brand, malaking brand, parang ganon. Your fighting brand na mas mura. One example, si Pure Foods. Ayan. Si Pure Foods. Wala, I forgot. Bibo ata yun eh. Wait lang. Search ko lang. Pure Foods Hot. Ngayon sa Miguel N. Ano? What? La. Ayun, tama. Okay. Bossing nga. Okay, so, eto. Diba si Pure Foods, ang number 1 niyang brand ay si Tender Juicy Hotdog. Tama. Tender TJ. Pag sinabi mong quality na hotdog, talagang nandun na si brand identity niya na pag sinabi hotdog, Tender Juicy. Pero lumabas sina Pampangas Best, sina Bibo ba? Ayun. So, anong nangyari? No? Ang ginawa nila, nag-introduce sila ng additional brand na si Bossing, Pure Foods Bossing na mas mura. Okay, so that's one of the ways on how you can you can counter price wars. Okay? Ayan. So, moving on. Okay. Tapos na pala. So, moving on to our next topic, which is managing incentives. Ayan. So, okay, we have different incentives. Incentives can be broadly categorized into two types, monetary and non-monetary. So, monetary incentives include coupons, rebates, discounts, slotting allowances, volume rebates, performance bonuses, and SPIFs. So, these incentives provide a direct financial benefit to customers or collaborators. On the other hand, non-monetary incentives include premiums, loyalty programs, recognition awards, and travel incentives. These incentives enhance the value of the offering without directly reducing its price. So both types of incentives play a crucial role in influencing customer and collaborator behavior. Ayan na. So incentive, hindi lang pala pang empleyado ang incentive. Meron din pala pang customers and collaborators. So, monetary, of course, yung mga discount, rebate, ayan, coupons. Non-monetary, mga recognition, travel incentives. Yan, andyan naman yung, andyan naman yung examples. So, let's dive deeper into customer incentives. So, customer incentives can be offered by either the manufacturer or the retailer. Monetary incentives for customers include coupons, rebates, price reductions, and volume discounts. These incentives aim to reduce the cost of the offering and encourage purchases. Siyempre. So, for example, a coupon might often offer a discount on a product at the time of purchase. So, yung mga nakukuha ninyong discount coupons, diba? Siyempre, magkakaroon yun ng sale kasi nga, ay, meron akong discount. Bibili nga ako ng ganito na hindi ko kailangan kasi baka mamaya expired na si ano eh. Expired na yung coupon, may expiration. Hindi na siya valid next month. So, ngayon na, bibilin ko na lang ngayon para makatipid ako. Diba? Yan yung isa sa mga monetary incentives. For the non-monetary incentives for customers include premium prizes, contests, sweepstakes, games, and loyalty programs. So these incentives enhance the value of the offering and encourage repeat purchases. So for instance, a loyalty program might offer rewards based on the frequency or volume of purchases. Yep. Alam niyo naman yan, naman yan, mga Suki card ni Mercury Drug, St. Joseph card, ayan, mga yan. Those are CRM, Customer Relations Management, loyalty program. Yan. O di kaya may mga tawag dito, may mga coupon, hindi, yung parang tatatakan na on your fifth purchase, magkakaroon ka ng umbrella, ganon. Or may incentive ka. Ayun, yan yung mga non-monetary incentives. Okay? Now, ito yung under ng customer. So, malamang na-encounter nyo na ito. Siyempre, bumibili naman kayo sa labas sa mga businesses. So, I know that you have encountered these types of incentives. No? Now, moving on to collaborator incentives. These incentives are typically offered to members of the distribution channel, such as retailers and distributors. Monetary incentives for collaborators include slotting allowances, volume rebates, cooperative advertising allowances, market development allowances, display allowances, tips, volume discounts, off-invoice incentives, cash discounts, and inventory financing. So these incentives encourage collaborators to promote and stock the company's offerings. Non-monetary incentives for collaborators include contests, bonus, merchandise, buyback guarantee, and sales support and training. So these incentives aim to build strong relationships with collaborators and encourage their support for the company's products. Now, we have the push and pull strategies. So a push strategy involves incentivizing retailers to promote products. So for example, offering high margins to retailers can encourage them to push the product to customers. Okay. On the other hand, a pull strategy involves directly targeting customers through ads, coupons, and other promotional activities. So, yun yung pull. This strategy aims to create demand among customers who then request the product from retailers. So both strategies are essential for effective marketing and can be used in combination to achieve the desired result. So push, ang umaano dito, ang binibigyan mo si retailer ng high margin. So, parang mas malaki ang kikitain mo kung mas marami kang mabebenta. So, ang gagawa nun ng paraan ay si retailer. Pag pull strategy, ang tina-target mo doon or ang pinupul mo or hinihikayat mo syempre ay ang mga target customers. So, for example, ads and coupons. Again, pagdating sa push, ang ini-encourage mo na magbenta. Parang pinupush mo si retailer mo na magbenta ng mas marami para mabigyan siya ng high margin or mas malaki ang porsyento niya sa kita. No? Pag si pull, ayan, ang tinutukoy dyan ay ang mga target customers. Okay? So, key price elasticity, sensitivity of demand to price changes, fighting brand, budget product to counter competitors, everyday low pricing, steady prices. For example, Walmart, syempre, steady prices, everyday low pricing, tawag doon. Ma-encounter nyo pa ito sa pricing strategy ninyo kay Sir Brian pag, I think, 4th year or 3rd year. Yan. Loss leader, sell one product cheap to boost others. And loss leader, sell one product cheap to boost others. And predatory pricing, illegal strategy to drive competitors out. Ayun lang. Illegal pero siya. Okay? So that's it for our topic. If you have questions, please comment sa stream. And on Wednesday will be your quiz. Okay? I'll announce further kung kailan ang ating exam, kung it's either Friday or Monday. Okay? So, see you.